Good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to Counsel of the Day with Shanrae. I do not own the rights to this song. It is on here. I do not own the rights to this song. But this is a very good song, one of my favorite songs, Heal the World by Michael Jackson. And that is my goal. That is my goal. That is my goal. One of the things that I believe that we are called to do is to help heal the world. Okay, I am situated, and we're going to go on and get started. I gave us a little, hi, Monique, how are you? I gave us a little extra time this evening for this topic, and I'm going to stop this music. So good evening, good evening, good evening. If you all can share, and we're going to go on and get started. Our topic for this month is on the family unit, specifically marriage. Tonight, we are talking about marriage and the in-laws. But let me start with my disclaimer. Okay, so please be aware that due to the nature of the technology that we are using, there can be no assurance of confidentiality when using this online service. It should be also noted that due to changes in policies, all replies are to be used as advisory and informational only and will not constitute an official determination. Information provided by counselors which is myself, our counseling services are subject to the limitations of current and available material. The final responsibility for successfully achieving a goal rests with you, the client or the individual. Information online is designed to be helpful. However, this information changes frequently, and it is recommended that clients or yourself will consult other specialists or other religious leaders to aid in your overall behavioral wellness. So we are going to go on and get started. Again, I did a lot extra time this evening for this session here, and I want to start out by saying this is one thing I don't believe in. I'm not doing whatever topics that I'm talking about, and this is Christian based. I'm not bashing anybody. That is not the goal. I will not bash anybody. I'm going to give you longitudinal type of research on this, on whatever topic that we're talking about, because it's about our overall wellness, health, and behavioral health. And us as Christian, it's about us being overcomers and whatever cares of the world that we may be experiencing. So I'm going to start with our scripture for these last 2 weeks, which is Genesis 2:24 from the New American Standard Version. And it says, "For this reason, a man shall leave his father and his mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." They shall become one flesh. I think I saw Pastor Lamarcus Epps on here. If he can stay on here, I may want to bring him in. Pastor Epps, stay on for these next 30 minutes. I would like you to stay on. I would like to bring you in live with me, because there is something that I learned from Pastor Lamarcus Epps when I was up under, we were all up under the same umbrella, under our Living Faith International Ministries, and he is and was one of the ministers there, and he would teach, and I learned a lot of different things from a male standpoint when he would get up and he would teach. And guys, please be patient, and because when I say this man gives you meat, he gives you meat. So I would like to bring him in at some point if he is available. All right. So now let me start with this, and y'all, please, I need y'all to talk to me, because I like correspondence. I want to bring y'all in. If you have any questions, we will address them. If you have any scenarios, you are more than free to talk. We can talk it to help encourage other people. So we left last Thursday with our homework assignment, and it was called the I Appreciate homework assignment. How many of you all did this assignment last week? Please raise your hand, do something. But we left with the I Appreciate homework assignment, where each of us as spouses, we were to write down 3 positive characteristics of the spouse, of our spouse. Like I was put to write down 3 different things that I really positive characteristics that I love about my husband, and then give the scenario why. And then he was to do the same thing. And we did it. And it was so much fun while we were doing it over these last few days. How many of you all did that? Hi, Levon, how are you? I see some people on here. I'm sorry. Hi, Kim. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Dee Dee. Hi, Angie. Hi, Keita. Hi, Rose. How are you? Hi, J Music. Hello, Neva. Okay, we're going to go on and get started. And of course, Pastor Lamarcus Epps here. All right. When you get a chance, let me know if you all were able to do the I appreciate homework assignment with your spouse. And again, some of you may have to initiate it. Don't give up if your spouse doesn't do it right away. Still include that. Hi, Cal. Still include it in your I'm fine and you. Thank you. Oh, I'm fine. Thank you, Levon. Continue to do these assignments that we have. And I'm telling you, eventually it will catch on. It will catch on. So I want to define once again marriage. And then we're going to move on from there. So marriage is also called matrimony or wedlock. And it's a socially or ritually recognized union between spouses that establishes rights and obligations between those spouses, as well as between them and any resulting biological or adopted children and affinity. Hello from Tennessee. Hi, Kathy. How are you? That illustrates each quality. I'm sorry. I just read down. Okay. Adopted children and affinity, your in-laws and other family through your marriage. Okay. So I want to now give you the definition of an in-law. It's actually 2 I'm going to give you. The first one is from a Webster's dictionary, and it says an in-law is a relative by marriage, and especially the mother or father of a person's husband or wife. Another definition came from the vocabulary dictionary, and it says an in-law is someone. Hey, Carson. An in-law is someone who is a relative because of marriage, like your husband's sister or your wife's father. You can refer to your spouse's entire family as your in-laws. In-law originally meant anyone of a relationship not natural or by blood. So that is the definition of an in-law. So I am going to start out tonight by reading a scenario, a brief scenario, a case that was actually a therapist was actually helping a very young couple. Now tonight I'm going to be dealing with the newer type marriages, and Thursday we're going to deal with people that have been married 20 years and above, and the different life changes and experiences that goes along with that. So we're going to deal with each night 2 separate types of scenarios when it comes to a younger marriage, a newer marriage, and then one that's more long-term, a more veteran, I can say veteran marriage. So let me read this case to you all and let me know what you think, because I didn't put down the answer that the therapist gave this young lady, but I want some feedback from you all. So the topic of this is, I am in fear of my husband's family destroying our marriage. And this was a young woman that was writing in desperation to a therapist for help, for like just things to do. She said, I'm in fear of my husband's family destroying our marriage. They're extremely opinionated and interfering, and have attacked me on on a very personal level on several occasions. She said, my biggest concern with this is that my husband doesn't give me enough reassurance to allow me to feel secure. That he places me, their son, and their new baby, she's pregnant, getting ready to have a baby, first. And she said, is there anything that she can do to get him to see her point of view and offer some empathy? Now, again, she says that her husband's parents are extremely opinionated. They're interfering, and they have attacked her on a very personal level on several occasions. So, does anybody here, I didn't write down the scenario that was given to her, but does anyone have anything that you want to comment on concerning this with this young marriage here? Hi, Tanita. And while I'm waiting on this, again, she's saying that her husband's mother and father have attacked her on a personal level on various occasions, and he has not stood up for her at all. While she's been going through this, they have a child together, a son, and then she's pregnant, and she just feels demeaned in her marriage. Well, I was trying to wait a little bit. I'm going to keep looking, but I'm going to give a few do's and don'ts of dealing with in-laws really quick while I am waiting. And then we're going to come back to this scenario, and then we'll go from there. And I'm going to give you a few personal scenarios of my own. So, the do's and don'ts of dealing with your in-laws. Do understand how your spouse relates to his or her parents. Don't assume that family relationship will resemble the one that's in your family. Okay, do take the time to get to know your in-laws. And if you're separated by distance, write or email or call them. Don't take offense easily. You may just not understand the family dynamic. Do check with your partner about their family customs. Will his mother expect, or will her mother expect a hostess gift? A thank you note? What do they like to eat? What their sense of humor is like? Can you talk about politics or religion in front of them? Okay, I'm seeing some things. Okay, hold on. Let's go back. Kim said the only one that can destroy a marriage is that man and that woman. Hallelujah. I'm waving my hand, y'all. I'm waving my hand. Kim, you sound like you've been going. Yes, you have some life experience. And I agree with you. You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The only one that can destroy marriage is the husband or the wife themselves. Roseanne Roberts Moore said, from experience, it will continue until the husband ends it. I'm assuming you said ends it. She's right. Or the spouse ends. You're right. Kathy Collins said, went through that for years. She just stayed away. Kathy, if that's the only way that you can keep peace, you did the right thing. Neva said, that's hard. Wonder if this was the issue before the marriage. Okay. And you know what? You're right, because things don't just start happening. Things just don't start. And so you're absolutely right. So I'm going to keep going with the do's and the don'ts. Don't criticize your partner's family. Don't criticize your partner's family. Rather, ask for explanations of things that you don't understand. I'm going to keep reading, and then we're going to go back and address some of these things. Do be polite and friendly. I'm going to read this. Do be polite and friendly and use your most charming ways around your in-laws. Desiree Dee Scott said, hold on, let me go down. I feel that the burden falls on the husband to address his family and set the record straight. However, this has to be a part of his belief system and thinking. And she is absolutely right. Kim said, you're talking right. Good points. And you are absolutely right. Wherever the issue is, that spouse is going to have to be the one to address. If for instance, with me. I came from a single parent home. My husband came from a nucleus family home with both mother and father. I was we had to, my upbringing was, we just had to do things. We had to learn how to do things. There was no tradition there. We worked together. We worked together. We had to logically do things together in order to live and to make it. My husband's he came from a nucleus family where the mother stayed at home. She did work in her home. And the father was that career-oriented man. But there was more of a tradition in his home. So there was some different things that I didn't understand coming in. There was some things that he didn't understand when we were coming in together. And I'm going to address that a little bit more. Let's finish reading these. Okay. Rose Ann Roberts Moore said, that's where I was coming from, Miss Desiree Dee Scott. Yes. That's where she was coming from. Exactly. Okay. Let me finish reading a couple of more of these do's and don'ts. So it says, do be polite and friendly. Use your most charming ways around your in-laws. Neva Ono said, good advice, everyone. Don't assume that they understand how you feel. They may not have a good clue along those lines, so don't take their comments and their reactions personally. You may not understand them as they were meant. Do think about what will work best for you and your partner before you try to please your partner's family. I'm going to say that again. Do think about what will work best for you and your partner before you try to please your partner's family. Don't ignore your partner while you're with your family. You can talk to your sister, but make sure you check in with each other frequently. Do consider doing something that's time limited and easier. If you go to dinner in a restaurant, everyone might be a bit better behaved. I do agree. Hi, good evening, Felicia. And don't hesitate to ask your spouse how it went when it's over. A debriefing can help both of you. So, all right, we're going to move on to some life scenarios at this point. And unfortunately, in Christian marriages as well as secular marriages, we all experience the same drama. Which really does affect your marriage. And it is not supposed to. But it does, because it's life. Let me give you a very personal example. And I'm not doing this to blacken anybody. I'm not doing this to cause any fires, but I am an open book. Conflict began initially when my husband and I got together. We did not traditionally get together. We got together, but we had our first child before we were married. So the child came first, and then we got married, which in a Christian environment, my grandfather's a bishop, my mother's an evangelist, his father's a minister or elder, his mother was considered a missionary evangelist. So, right then and there, it was like, oh my God, they done brought shame upon our family. And it's not like we was trying to hurt our family. We were two young people that fell in love, and things just moved, and then I wasn't accustomed to dating, so I didn't know, so one thing led to the next, and then next thing we're in love, and we making love. You know what I'm saying? Young, we making love. And then the baby comes. And he always, because he was always been honorable. And he always wanted to marry me from the start. But the hormones, and we too young, and my career. I'm going to pause for a minute because I see something. Kim, I love your research, Shanrae, and that you are sharing openly. Thank you. Thank you so much, Kim. So when I finally settled, when my hormones and everything finally settled, and I have family members on here that can agree. They were there. When my hormones finally settled, and even while all of this was going on, the process of the babies and different things like this. And again, what I'm sharing is not to hurt or embarrass anybody. It was the usual thing, even within a Christian environment. It was accusations of the baby was not my husband's, which in other words, you're accusing, you're saying that I was a whore. Like I was sleeping around, and and that was not true. So it was a lot of emotions going, because I'm like, Oh my God. How could you just assume that the baby is not his? So that was one of the first conflicts. The baby's not his. Then the baby comes. Same with me. My husband and I got hold on. I'm trying to read this really quick. Hold on. Rosa, same with me. My husband and I got married when my son was 13 months. Right. Kai, our oldest son was 10 months when we got married. Kai was the best man. He clinked down the aisle in his walker. He was clean. He was dressed in all white. It was beautiful. It was, we have the wedding pictures to prove it. So, but one of the main things was that, it was accusations that the baby wasn't his. Oh my God. It was so much going on because of our status. We come from pastors and all of this. And then there's accusation now that I'm a whore, which could have been the farthest from the truth. The farthest from the truth. If we can be frank, my husband taught me everything. So I was so naive and green to, hey, it is what it is. And so whatever. He was my pleasure. My first pleasure like that. He was my pleasure. And so it is what it is. And then we go to get married. And we did it, and I'll get into that another time. But we got married within a month's time. I was getting ready to go on tour with Mariah. Funny but sad, folks are something else, but the devil will eventually turn on himself. That's funny, Kim. So we went ahead and we got married. We decided we was going to get married, and we did it within a month. We had a real full-blown wedding, and we did it within 1 month. We had full bridesmaids, everything. We got married in 1 month. So me not knowing a lot about the way you are saying whore with New York accent is funny to me. John Andrew. Okay. Somebody said something else. That's right. So I'm trying to make it quick because we don't have a lot of time. So I go to sit down with his family because Dupree has always been a part of my family. My family, those that gave him a tough time, because they wanted to see how his heart for me. So they tested him. And they found out that he was the real deal. They was like, this dude loves you. And I mean, my family, all of my aunts, my uncles, all of them, great aunts, uncles, they tested him. They just asked him a lot of questions. They were not rude. They weren't mean to him. They weren't sadistic, but they wanted to see where his heart was. And they found out that he really did love me. And so I went to sit with his family. We let them know that we were getting married. We were doing it within 30 days because I was getting ready to go on tour for about a month. And so he was like, we're going to do it. We need to do it. She finally said yes. So I asked for the family's address, all of my husband's side of the family's address, so we can send the invitations. But his family, his mom said, you don't know them. I'll just give me the invitations. I'll send it off to everybody. And then the wedding got a little bit bigger because we first said it was going to be a small wedding. It got a little larger. So I bought more invitations over and asked again, can I help out? Can I send these off? She told me, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You don't know the family. I'll take care of it. Well, to make a long story short, on our wedding day, and my grandfather married us and his father married us. So it was a very intimate wedding. It was beautiful. My grandfather, his father married us. On the wedding day, my husband didn't have any family there. And my family and friends packed out the church, but they were generous enough to keep one side of the church open just in case the family were coming in late. But to make a long story short, his family didn't show up. They never came because the invitations were never were never mailed out. So that was a huge thing starting out in our marriage. And we found out that they were deliberately not mailed out. So we started out this way. My husband had to look at an empty side of a church with none of his family there. But we married anyway. I went on tour and came back, and our life got started. And I remember it was a year later, we went to his side, his family reunion side of the family. And his family was kind of standoffish with me. And it took one of his great aunts to say to me, and I love her. She's still here today. She said to me, honey, was you too good? You didn't want us to come to the wedding? And I had to extinguish this fire. And I had to say to her, no, ma'am. I said, we wanted everyone there. And I explained to her what happened. I needed to address this to send, and I was told, no, you don't know the family. Let me do it. So, and I said, to make a long story short, no invitations were mailed out. None were mailed out. And so once the truth came out, the family, of course, they dealt with the source. And then they welcomed me into the family. And to this day, I am welcomed in on both sides of my husband's family, the maternal and the paternal side. I have to say, both sides love me. I got one of my Boswells on here now. And the Owen side, I don't know. I can't even tell you all of them, but they love me. But once they found out what happened, that betrayal, that act of betrayal, and how, and stuff happens out of selfishness and out of, I'm trying to protect my own, but you're hurting your own. So does anyone want to say anything before I get on? And I want to say something. I learned a lot as under Pastor Lamarcus Epps. He taught a lot about men and the place that men are supposed to be in as the husbands. From provider on to protector to everything. And I'm going to bring him in a minute. But let me give you eight quick tips on keeping your in-laws from sabotaging your marriage. I'm gonna bring Pastor Lamarcus Epps. Are you still on here? I need you to tell me yes if you're still here, because I'm gonna invite you in for a minute, because I want you to expound from a pastoral and a male point of view. The duties of a man in the relationship. I hope and pray that Pastor Lamarcus Epps is still on here, because this man, he teaches meat, honey. He teaches meat. Okay, so let me give you these 8 tips really quickly. I'm gonna do this. So listen, I'm gonna read this. Your allegiance should be to your spouse. Hi, KVO. How do you move past that without resentment? KVO, it takes the Lord. As a Christian counselor, it really does take. Hey, okay, Lamarcus, I'm going to bring you on very soon. Very soon. Please stay on. KVO, and then I want you to address this question to Pastor Lamarcus Epps. Because he's a man. Kim, what's not to love about you? That's... Kim, if you knew me closer, I'm not the type of person that will try to hurt anybody, but I'm very direct. And I speak the truth. Tanita said, Jesus. She knows, because that's my cousin. That's my family. I'm honest. I'm honest and I'm direct. And that's something that a lot of people cannot accept readily. But when you get to know me, you know I love you to pieces. Love you to pieces, for real. But I'm a very direct type of person. And I believe that iron sharpens iron. And I expect, like my sister Dee Dee, we sharpen each other. Dee Dee will tell me in the name of the Lord, especially when she feel like I was too hard on her brother, that I was wrong in the name of the Lord, and you gonna suck it up. And I'll be like this, okay, but that's it. Iron sharpens iron. I'm going to read something really quickly, and then I'm going to bring on Pastor Lamarcus Epps very, very briefly, because our time is almost running up. I gave us an extra 15 minutes tonight for this. So your allegiance should be to your spouse. That's how I am, Shanrae. Okay, but that means you're passionate, girl. That means you're passionate. Your allegiance should be to your spouse. Of course, you're still a member of your family of origin, and that familial relationship is important. However, both of you must remember that once you marry, your allegiance should shift to your partner. Now, I'm gonna say something now. If your partner has some kind of quirks and stuff, because I believe that right is right and wrong is wrong. You don't stand with anybody in their wrong, because you're gonna have to answer to God for that. We know right from wrong. Don't stand with anybody in their wrong. But when you know that you and your spouse have come together and you all said that you all going to live this way and do this, and you're not trying to hurt nobody or hurt yourselves, then nobody should get in the way. I'm going to say this real quick before I give you the do's and don'ts. And this was from last week. Remember those that were on last Thursday. Our research therapist, Dr. Goldman, says that happy couples create a family culture that includes both of their dreams and being open to each other's perspectives and opinions. And happy couples naturally come together. We have to remember this. Let me go real quick, because I'm going to give you these quick 8 tips, and then I'm going to bring on Pastor LaMarcus Epps. So for tip number one, it says, do prioritize. Y'all prioritize. Your partner and your marriage are your top priority. Protect them. Number 2 is, do set boundaries. You and your spouse must clearly define the boundaries of your marriage. This means deciding who comes in, when, and under what circumstances. You promise to forsake all others, and this means your parents too. So do figure out holidays up front. As early as possible, decide how you want to spend holidays and other important occasions as a couple. Do not just go along and hope that you can change it later. Number 4 says, do be a team. Recognize you cannot change your family's behavior. Only your response to it. Have a clear and united response that supports your marriage. Number 5 says, do keep an open mind. Listen to your partner's viewpoints and feelings about your family with an open mind and heart, and don't automatically defend your family. Number 6 says, don't betray your spouse to your parents. Don't do that. Be clear about what is okay to share about your marriage with your parents. Do not betray your spouse's confidence or vulnerabilities. Make sure you tell them about positive aspects of your spouse and your marriage. Number 7, don't force the relationship. If you cannot reconcile your partner and your parents, stop trying. Do not force your spouse to be with them if it is too hurtful. It's okay to visit them alone. Number 8 and final one says, do be the bad cop. Do be the bad cop. You are the spokesperson and enforcer for your marriage to your parents. So do not leave it to your partner to work things out with your parents. Let their relationships be as easy as possible. Now, let me interject really quick before I bring Pastor LaMarcus on. There was, and when I say everything is good now, everything's good. There was a scenario some years ago where my mom she kind of fussed at my husband over a television. She was visiting us over television. And he came in from all day working. And at that time, we didn't have a lot of televisions in our house. And he wanted to sit down because my mom was on the phone at the time. And he wanted to sit down and watch TV. So he turned the channel while she was on the phone. She was upset about it. And she started fussing at him a little bit. And he came to me and said, you're going to have to talk to your mother. He said, and he told me what happened. And he just went into the bedroom. And then I had to deal with my mother concerning that. You know, I had to reiterate that this is his house, not that he's trying to be nasty or anything like that, and then went into that. So it was both scenarios, and there's more things that's happened, but I just gave a couple of different scenarios down through my personal scenarios. I am now going to bring in Pastor LaMarcus Epps. Please bear with me when I say he's about to give you some meat. He's about to give you some meat. Y'all, please bear with us. LaMarcus. Oh, my gosh. Lord, please let me be able to get him on here. Let me see if I can find him. Okay, I'm going to go back. Ooh, Jesus. Oh, my God. Did I just mess up? Okay, hold on. Ooh, Jesus. Okay, the devil is a liar. Okay, let me look through here because I'm going to invite him this way. Pastor LaMarcus Epps, Pastor LaMarcus Epps, Pastor LaMarcus Epps. I'm trying to get you on here. There we go. I'm trying to get you on here now. Let me invite you in. Will it let me invite you in? Pastor Lamarcus Epps, are you on your laptop or on your phone? You have to get on your phone for me to invite you in. Hold. Let me do this again. Oh, come on. All right. I'm trying to see if I can get him in here. I keep hitting his. He can request. Pastor Lamarcus says, "Come on, put in a request." Thank you, Dee Dee. Give me a request because it's not working this way. I'm not sure if he's on his laptop or on his, but you have to be on your phone. You have to be on your phone. KVO, I hope you're still on here because I really want you to ask Pastor Lamarcus Epps a question where he can address you from man to man. From man to man. Oh, Lord. I'm trying to get him in here. Let me see if I can do it up here. Oh, Lord. Is it? It's not even showing. I see everybody but him. I see everybody but him. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay.
Hey, can you see me?
Yes, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How you doing?
I am finding you. We have a young man on here by the name of KVO Lacrosse. He asked a question that I think that you would better be able to help with, and anyone else that is on here. Yes, he said, I'm still here. KVO, please reiterate the question so Pastor Lamarcus Epps can see it and then he can address you from there. Lamarcus, tell him who you are.
Hey, I'm Pastor Lamarcus Epps, right here, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. Um, just been serving the Lord for right around 26 years. And so right now I'm at Christ Pinnacle with Pastor Thomas. I wanted to, I think I seen he was on here as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but anyway, thank you very much for the invite on the video.
You know,
First time ever, by the way.
I tell you the wisdom that the Lord has put in you, the world needs to hear. The world needs to hear.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So KVO,
We'll
ask him again so we can see. I need to see the. You know what? He's probably typing. He's probably typing.
okay.
Yes.
Well, let me say this about your initial scenario with the young lady and the husband. The Bible tells us in the book of Genesis, and just for the record, I like to refer to Genesis because it's the beginning, it's the blueprint. And I always say if you can get to the beginning of a thing, the origin of a thing, that's the one thing that can't be erased. You can't erase the origin, and you can't erase the original intent. So from the very beginning, when God had created Adam and Eve, he said, for this reason shall a man leave his mother and his father and cleave. That word cleave means to hang on to and to overtake and to pursue. And so for the security of his wife, it's very, very, very important that that husband, that young man, stands up and he defends his wife's honor. He defends their love, because if he don't, she's going to have an insecurity, which not only just in herself, but an insecurity in their relationship,
That's right.
and so she's not going to feel complete with him,
That's
and it can snowball into other issues.
that's right.
So it's very, very important that he stands up and do that. And I also want to say that your do's and don'ts were on point, every last one of them.
Mhm.
And any of us that's been married, whether you're Christian or not, um, there are people of people wherever you go. And so, I believe in the principle, the law of honor. So it's very important that we operate in that. And you said some things very, very key, even dealing with you and Dupree, like what scenario with the television. You said he came to you instead of engaging in a verbal dispute with your mom,
Mhm.
he went to you about it.
That's right.
And I think that was very key, and which also kept the relationship between him and her well, and the relationship between you and your mom well also.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was very important.
That's right. Okay, so I'm going to skip to KVO really quick, because and then someone else may have a question. He said, "Hey, Pastor, it was regarding in-laws causing conflict in a relationship and moving past it without holding resentment."
I think holding resentment is natural. I don't care where you're from; it's a natural thing. But then again, the Bible says, "Except a man be born again, he cannot see the kingdom of God." So we have to trust and believe that the Holy Spirit can give us the strength to forgive and to move on.
That's right.
And I'm not necessarily saying forget what was done, but go back to what I just said a minute ago. The word honor. What you do is your responsibility. That whatever you do, you operate in the highest level of respect and honor. You can't control what they do, but you can control what you do. And so, in your heart, if you know that you're doing everything that you're supposed to do to maintain that relationship and keep it right, then you're good. And don't allow um, their actions to dictate your actions. And as long as you stay on that path, you'll be okay. Not just you, but your marriage will be okay. So
He's right. He's absolute from a counselor standing point and a Christian counselor. Pastor Lamarcus is absolutely right. There was something that within the 8 tips again, where it says that um, don't force the relationship. Now you can
yeah,
love somebody and you can love them from a distance. Someone said earlier how they just keep themselves separate because you can be cordial, but you're not a beating board either. You're not a beating post. You don't go into a place where you know that someone is going to be abusive to you. So in order for you to keep your mind and keep the peace of mind and everything, you sometimes you just have to don't force relationships. And if you can't, like it says, if you can't reconcile your partner and your parents, stop trying. Don't force it. Don't force it on your spouse, and don't try to be with them because it's too hurtful. And it's and it's okay for like me to visit my mom or him to visit his parents, my husband visit his parents, and because y'all marriage is sacred. Yeah, it's that, like I said, that triangle: God, him, and you. God, him, and you. So, Pastor Lamarcus, is there anyone else? Let me see that has any more questions. Love, women, love. Thank you, Tiffany. Annette. Is there anyone else that have any more questions for Pastor Lamarcus X while we have him on? My alarm is about to go off, but I'm going to allow a couple of more minutes because when I say that the Lord has instilled wisdom in this man, from a spiritual standpoint, this is the time to go on and glean and ask him for it if he don't mind.
yeah.
Anyone
Hey,
else that
while
have
we
a
wait,
question? Go ahead.
I do want to say this too, that we have to have use wisdom in recognizing our relationships.
That's right.
Discern your relationships, and when you discern your relationships, you know what boundaries to set. I have a sister, and I'm gonna tell you this. Everybody hear me well. She's my sister. You come against my sister, you talk about her, you're gonna have to deal with me. I'm gonna come at you, okay? But my sister and our relationship, uh, we cannot be in the same dwelling place for more than 3 days because we're gonna be trying to tear each other's neck off. You understand? But I recognize that this is my sister, and I recognize that even with my sister, there is a boundary. There are limits. That even with time, there's just a certain amount of time that we can spend with each other before we begin to clash.
Right.
And so, because I recognize that, guess what? I know when to peel back. I know when to say, okay, love you, see you later,
Hmm.
and move on. So if you can do that with your own flesh and blood, you can definitely do that with your in-laws.
That's right. That's right. And I'm going to add to that, as married couples, again, I'm going to reiterate what I said earlier. Um, with us as Christians and those that are not Christians, are Christian believers, I still stand on right is right and wrong is wrong. If your spouse, or if you're the one that's causing fires with the in-laws, then your husband or y'all have to address this. That's the hardest thing, to find out that you're married to someone, that is causing harm. I'm sorry, that's me, y'all. That's me. Okay, we go. It's even harder to find out that the very person that you love and you marry is the one that's causing issues. So then you can't, then you can't bring your spouse around your family, because they the one that's starting it. And that makes it hard, because you love this person and you're praying that they will grow and they would mature. They will mature, because it's not always the in-laws. Sometimes it is within the marriage. So we have to talk about it. Goes both ways. But either way,
That's right.
it has to be addressed. It has to be addressed. Family is family, and we a family. We need each other. We love each other. We don't have to be around each other, but we do need each other, and we should love each other, whether you're Christian or you're not. Now, you may not
That's
like
right.
everything, but we should be able to agree to disagree and still live in peace. But if that can't happen, here we go. We're not gonna force any relationships. Me, as I call myself a healer. I believe that we're overcomer. I believe we can overcome certain dysfunctions. We can overcome dysfunctions and hateful acts. We can, if we choose to. But if we don't, I'm sorry. Let me read this. Kim says, I also suggest premarital counseling and, as you said, pre-planning, i.e. holidays. Thank you, Pastor. Also, and I agree. Premarital counseling, it is it. It is it, because it's going to bring out some of the worst things within each other, help you recognize it so you can heal and you can become a better person. So when you don't go into a marriage already destroyed, and then you're gonna, you know what I'm saying, the whole family becomes destroyed after that. Very dysfunctional, on a dysfunctional foundation rather than a whole healthy relationship. Tammy Hill says, what is the secret to a happy marriage? Pastor?
Um, Honor, respect, and all what pleases your spouse, and build from that. Matter of fact, one thing I like to do when I do marriage counseling, I have them during one of the weeks have a competition to who can treat who better,
Oh,
who can dish out the most compliments, who can, find out the little things that they like. It just might be a particular candy that one of them like, and you come in the house with that particular candy. Little things like that. So find little ways that please them, that little things that they like, that may be often overlooked by other people, but not overlooked by you. That
yeah.
makes them feel very special.
I love that, which goes right back to our homework assignment from last week, that I appreciate you homework assignment. We're going to extend that to this week, guys. If you all would write you as a couple, write down 3 different things you appreciate about your spouse, and explain to them why you appreciate them for that. And then next week, meet me on Thursday. I'm sorry, on Thursday, and let me know how that worked out for you. I'm going to give you this counseling hotline once again. Y'all know how I am when it comes to this. It's called the Hope Marriage Hotline. Someone please write this down. The Hope Marriage Hotline. And the telephone number is 855-395 HOPE. I'm just going to make it simple tonight. Again, the Hope Marriage Hotline. The telephone number is 855-395 HOPE. Hope. And they have licensed counselors on that are on from 7 a.m. until 11 p.m. at night. Okay, our time is up. Thank you so much, Dee Dee. We will continue this on Thursday night, but we're going to be talking about more so issues that are in veteran marriages, those that have been married maybe 15, 20 years on up, and the in-law situation. It's going to be a little deep on Thursday night, but we are believing God for restoration and healing within that with veteran marriages. I want to thank you again, Pastor Lamarcus Epps. God bless you all so much
Oh,
for this tonight. I enjoy being on here with you. I'm going to play my theme song real quick. God bless you all. And until Thursday night, I will see you. Thank you, Pastor Lamarcus. And if you're available
love
Thursday,
you.
I can always use your insight.
Okay.
Okay. Good night, everybody. And just be happy, guys. Be blessed and be happy. Good night.